Welcome to 24/7 Flat Earth Discord channel. Be sure to go to VC Chi Check and 1 to get your VC verification tags to get involved in the conversation about our Earth. Be sure to bring your verifiable Earth curvature evidence, though.
Enemy spotted.
Ray notes.
Doing though, right?
We got you, man.
That's not the job that
Jim,
they say that
Jim,
they
I'm
do.
gonna stop fucking around because somebody's gonna start taking me seriously.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, they say that they do other things with that money.
I bet they have a bowling night on Saturday night. What do you think? Did they have a bowling night?
There's no doubt about that, but
Well,
they
according
do.
to the news, they are expensing sex workers. That's what they're
Oh,
doing.
ooh, I like that one. That's cool.
That would be the least surprising thing to find out.
Well, that's what the news is saying.
I mean, they do say that they put rovers on Mars and that they put satellites in space.
Did
and
you say rubbers?
rovers? Sorry.
Oh, I thought you said rubbers.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
but for $70
No.
million a day, I could say a lot of things. I would
Well,
speak the truth.
I mean, they do go out of their way to make it look like that's what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing all day. But that
Doesn't
is-
even
Wow.
look like that's what they're doing.
Well, when they say they're putting a rover, for example, on Mars, this is what they're showing us. Are you in the live stream voice text?
I'm not seeing what you guys are looking at. If you're showing something,
Yeah,
Not
just
even sure I
above
know
this.
how-
So just above this voice channel, you'll see a channel called Live Stream Voice Tech.
Yeah.
You see that?
Are you showing Rover live?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Paul, you
So-
should be watching this instead.
So when they say, "Hey, we're going to Mars, we're landing a rover," we say, "That's amazing. Can we see?"
Could
And they
have
say,
sworn
"Sure."
I played a video game that looks that way.
They say, "Sure, have a look." And I don't know. Does that convince you?
I'm convinced.
Not the CGI. Some of the photographs of that they return, they look like they're actual photographs of things, not CGI.
What are they photographs of, though?
Well, they could be photographs of dirt in my backyard for all I know, but
Exactly. So,
but they don't appear to be CGI. I can't confirm
yeah.
what
But
the
you-
surface of Mars looks like, but
yeah. But they don't prove to you that they landed a rover.
no, I wouldn't say it's
Or that
proof.
is-
No, I would say you would put it in the category of evidence. Everyone can have varying degrees of how convincing they think that is, but by no means is it proof.
Would it be in the category of verifiable evidence?
Not for me, or probably anyone in this conversation. I mean, I don't have the wherewithal to send my own camera to Mars and take a picture and send it back. And even if I did, you guys would be as incredulous about that as you are about NASA. Although,
Well, we wouldn't
given
have
the
the
net,
opportunity
given
to do that.
what's that?
We wouldn't have the opportunity to do that because at a certain altitude, there's military purview. They've made it so that they're the only ones who can even claim to do such a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, well, Elon Musk is going to be making that claim pretty soon.
Well, he might say so, and then what? Show you another picture of dirt in your backyard,
Yeah.
and
I
then
mean,
what
if
is that? Will that convince you?
I was watching that Tesla video
I would-
where he sent the Tesla into space and how like the green screen messed up, and so for a second there you could tell that it was a green screen. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but I thought it was pretty funny.
That sounds like something he would do on purpose. But yeah, I would believe Elon Musk far over than I would believe a government agency on almost any topic. But does that mean he's telling the truth? No, it just means he would be more credible, in my opinion, and probably many other people's opinions, than NASA.
Yeah, but that would still just be you taking this guy at his word and the images and whatever else he comes out with at his word, basically, right?
Yeah, at some point. I'm not really sure, to what degree we can reasonably interrogate claims like these.
Which is why we don't really spend our time discussing or debating them, because at the end of the day, we're like, well, these are unverifiable claims. We can't do much with them. Be like if I claimed I have pictures of Bigfoot. You can see the pictures, but You can't verify them. So, what other evidence have you got? Would be what I'm asking.
Well, for me, I guess I would say, I mean, if we're just talking about the nature of God's creation in general, I would say that there's a high degree of continuity between everything that God makes. You know what I mean? Like, if
Yeah, but we're talking specifically about how can we verify if Earth is a ball that spins, like we're told.
well, you can't even verify that you're real or that you're not a brain in a jar somewhere. It's not a non-nullifiable concept.
Well, no, because this is supposed to be physical, right? It's supposed to be a
Mhm.
physical reality of the surface that we live on. It's supposed to have certain properties. So it's supposed to curve at a certain rate, supposed to
Sure.
spin at a certain rate, supposed to move at a certain rate. So these are things which are within the physical realm that should be testable, detectable, verifiable,
Right. So
falsifiable.
to that end, like I saw, I'm sure you guys are aware of this person. His name is, let's see if I can remember it, Walter Islin, right? He has
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got a rather extensive library of stuff and has programmed some pretty fantastic flat Earth models. Although he does it in the service of debunking flat Earth, the models themselves, his computer generated model that you can manipulate and change dates and times and see how things would appear anywhere in the world on a flat Earth. It's pretty amazing. But he had this calculator that showed the curve of the Earth as you rose up. It was just a simple grid, and as you slid the sliders around, it had various controls. And one of them was it showed the curve of the Earth at what I felt was a very low altitude. It was at I forget what it was. So I went out because I thought, well, I fly in planes quite regular, cross country for business, and I thought, well, I take pictures out the window all the time. So I thought, well, I have pictures of the Earth at probably some of these altitudes, and so I know that you travel approximately. His was in meters, and I couldn't convert it in my head, so I just did search. Like, what's 35,000 feet in meters, and it was whatever, roughly 100,000 feet. So I slid the thing up, and sure enough, you could see this faint curve. And well, I don't remember ever seeing that in the plane. Not that I looked super close, but I do have all these pictures. So I went out to my pictures in Google Photo and just searched airplane, and all photos showed up, and I finally found one where I'm just looking out across the horizon. And so I plopped it into Photoshop, put a grid over it, and ran point to point along the horizon, and sure enough, I could see this curve. And I said, well, understanding photography like I do and where the line was, I would predicted that it would have curved opposite based on the distortion of the lens. But I still have that phone. I don't use it anymore, but I still have the phone. I took a picture of it. So I went, well, how much barrel distortion does this lens have? Because normally it's kind of pin cushiony. In other words, it would arc in around the outer edges, not bulge out. So I took a picture of my house and the siding at a pretty good distance because I didn't want to take a picture of anything close. And it was almost absolutely as straight as an arrow. So I thought, well, I guess I did see curve myself with a photo I took myself.
Well, what
Is it very
about have you considered that the plane window itself is
Yeah, that was why. Yeah, that was why. Although there wasn't any apparent distortion, and the other thing, and I could probably confirm that if I could find other photos where the horizon is at some other location in the window. But I was going to share that with a friend because I have a friend who's flat earther. He's a good friend of mine. And I was going to share that for him, and then that thought occurred to me just before I hit send on the email. Yeah, I know that maybe I can't promise you that window that I was looking through didn't offer some sort of distortion, although it wasn't really apparent. Or if it was the most perfect distortion a plastic window could have ever rendered optically. And I know that those things aren't made like perfectly. If you've ever looked at them, they're just a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
They're not very impressive.
But moreover than that, we have proponents on the globe side. You heard of Neil deGrasse Tyson, yeah?
Yeah, I know him. He's a physicist that pretends that he can dabble in philosophy. Poorly, I would add.
Yeah, for sure. But he says that mathematically, according to the globe model, you wouldn't be able to see any curvature from 120,000 feet, because he was speaking about the Felix Baumgartner.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Jump.
see. Yeah, you wouldn't from what he's saying, but you would be able to see at a pretty good altitude. You would be able to see a disk. You would only see a very tiny portion of the Earth.
Right, so if that's
and
the case, then you wouldn't be able to detect it from an airplane, because that was way higher than an airplane.
Yeah, and I haven't verified what he said. This was just something I kind of messed around with today based on Walter Bislin's.
What you need to
curvature
remember
calculator.
about Walter's simulations is that they're just that, simulations, right? So he's plotting in his own assumptions on things as to how this would work, how this would look. He has refraction on it that you can slide up to scales that have never been recorded, don't exist in reality. So you can essentially
Right.
make a model, a simulation, do whatever you want it to do. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So we don't really spend much time debating models or simulations. We look at the empirical evidence, what can be observed, what can be measured in reality. And
Which is
again,
what I tried to do, right? That's why I went to my own photo library.
yes,
Personally. I tried to the
then if
flaw
we're
in there that you
saying,
identified.
but we agree that those flaws are pretty much inherent. The lenses that you're dealing with would potentially create some distortion. The globe model itself mathematically doesn't predict
Hey, could
temperature from that altitude, doesn't predict it from
Yeah.
even ISS altitude.
I want to come in real quick. Could somebody, a Gold Plus or a mod, come up? This guy sounds okay. He doesn't sound like he's a nutcase. I talked to him for a little bit. I can't do anything more than being a silver. Can somebody come up here and give him permission to come on down here?
If he's verified, if you've spoken to him and explained how the server works and all that, I'll just give him the role.
Okay, you can do that staying down here, Wolfgang.
Yeah, I've just given it to
Okay.
him, so he can jump down whenever he wants.
Okay, so I'll go up and tell him that. Thanks, guys.
No worries. Mathematically, we have planetarium directors saying that at the ISS altitude of 250 miles, they wouldn't be able to see any curvature. So, but if what you were seeing was curvature, then that means we should be able to measure it down here, right, over a distance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So do you think, has anyone ever done that?
Oh, not me personally.
Well, have you ever heard of someone who has?
Measured the curve.
Yeah.
I just bumped into video that was just thrown up from YouTube as a suggestion of someone doing a particular curvature measure, but I didn't actually watch it. I'm not an expert on how you would measure the curve over something that big.
Okay. But then if
Not
we're
really-
saying, because the globe model argument is essentially, it's not that you would see curvature, it's that you're too small to see curvature, and no altitude you ever get to would you be able to see curvature. So what you experience is a flat Earth, a flat Earth. But then they're also saying, but it curves at this specific rate. So if we're saying
That's
we
right.
can't go to an altitude to observe it, we must be able to verify it on the ground, or else why are we believing that it's curving?
Well, I mean, you and I can't get to a distance, but there have been observers who have apparently been far enough away, like the
Right, but again, that's stories. That's unverifiable stories. I'm saying me and you, let's us figure this out. Right, so if we go to a 10-mile lake, okay, a lake that's 10 miles wide, me and you, from me to you, how much drop do you think the globe model predicts? Is it a centimeter, 2 centimeters, a meter, 20 meters? What do you think?
Let's see, what'd you say, 10 miles?
10 miles.
What that would be about, wouldn't it be 10, 12 feet? No, more than 12 feet, 13, 14 feet of drop, my guess. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't have the, again, I'm not a math person either.
Okay. Well, what if I told you it was supposed to be 66.6 feet?
I'd want to see the formula that would predict that, I suppose.
Okay. Well, you're free to Google a curve calculator Or
for-
if you look in the voice text channel, I'm sure someone can post the tables with the calculations.
Sure, but for argument's sake, well, we would
For
just assume you're
argument's
right.
sake, yeah, let's just you can
66
check
feet.
that.
That's
66
fine.
feet. So if I'm on one side of a lake, standing at the shore, and you're on the other side of the lake, standing at the shore, and I take out my binoculars or my telescope, whatever, and I look in your direction, should I see you?
Depending on weather conditions, yes, sometimes, and maybe no others.
Well, but you're supposed to be 60 foot below this curved water, right?
Yeah, but refraction can lift something easily up that high.
What do you mean?
So as light travels through different density mediums, it will curve. So it's easy to predict that the air closest to the lake would be slightly denser than the air as the air would thin when you rise up, which means it does make sense that you would predict that light traveling through a medium like that would tend to kind of try to follow that curve based on the fact that
Wait, but you're assuming that it would be following a curve. Why are you assuming a curve?
I'm saying it's predictable that it's predictable that it could.
Right. Okay. So,
Right,
so you're saying that we should be able to see around an obstruction to something that's physically below an obstruction.
Yeah, I mean we do that all the time. I mean you can see that if you've ever driven down the road on a hot day, you've definitely seen reflections of the car.
Yeah, but that's
like
not
an upside down
no.
car.
What would be equivalent would be like, say I'm 10 miles away behind a wall, or let's say I'm a mile away behind a wall, and you're on the other side of the wall. Are you saying that on certain days, depending on the weather, I could be seen in front of that wall?
You wouldn't be seen in front of the wall, but if the wall were placed at the exact midpoint between the both of us, and given the certain weather conditions, you would actually see what appears to be you standing on top of the wall. And we do see that with boats from time to time. You see ocean liners that look like they're, 70, 80 feet in the air, just cruising along through the sky.
Yeah, but that's more because of a reflective property. I mean, if we're just standing on one end of a field to another, or however far away from each other, and I'm physically separated from you by a brick wall, I don't know of any phenomena of the weather that would make me appear in front of the wall.
Well,
I've never seen that.
Well, not in front of the brick wall. Not if you're behind the brick wall. You wouldn't.
But that's what we're saying with the lake, right? You're behind the curved water.
Yeah, but I said in order for the wall to represent what you describe as the lake, the wall would have to be at a midway point between you and I. You would never appear to be in front of the water, no matter what.
Well, either way, I would be 60 foot below the top of this wall.
Yes.
To your perspective. So how would I appear in front of or on top of the wall if I'm physically 60 feet below where you can see me?
Because if the light traveled along, again, refracting along the density of the air that curved along it, it could, in theory, lift the light reflecting off from you such that the angle looks like you are above the wall. Or maybe just your head, or maybe your feet, or maybe you're 20 feet above the wall. I mean, could it do it over 10 miles? I don't know if it could do it over 10 miles.
But miraging really only affects what we can actually see, right? We don't see through physical obstructions because of miraging. Like we can't see through a building or over or through a hill to the other side and see what's behind it due to miraging. Like that just can affect objects in relation to a horizon in terms of where they appear above it.
Well, the mirage doesn't, depending on the type of mirage. I mean, there's different types. Some are just.
But there's no mirage that can let you see me in front of something that I'm hidden by. Like if I'm in a house in front, if there's a hill between me and you, and I'm in a house on the other side of the hill, there's no mirage that's going to put my house in front of that hill or above it. Like you're just not going to see the house. Unless you have a demonstration of that.
It's a wall of ice. The wall of ice, it may be 4 kilometers length.
I'm not quite sure.
Well, I have seen. I have seen pictures of Chicago from Southwest Michigan, where the city would reside some 400 or 600 feet below the horizon. On most days, you're not going to see that, but on certain days, you can.
Is it
And-
possible? Is it possible that you're seeing that because there is no curve? Is that a possibility?
No, I don't think so.
How is it not a possibility? That's just saying you see what you're seeing because it's there. How's that not a possibility?
Well, because on most days, even days that would be much clearer with those weather conditions aren't present, we don't see it. What we
Right,
do see
because
is
you can't see forever depending on the atmo conditions. This is why weather reports give you a general visibility range each day. It changes every day with it
right.
changing because of the size of the balls changing. It's changing because of the atmo conditions. So that works perfectly well with a flat surface. You would be able to see further and less depending on the conditions. On a ball, when something's physically below the curve, there's no proven or even suggested until a few years ago refraction that would ever do that. Right? I mean, that's not even.
And I've seen explanations that do a pretty damn good job of explaining that, but I've
You seen a demonstration?
Not it. Well, yeah. I mean, if you see a picture of something that shouldn't be there, I'm not going to assume flat
Oh,
Earth.
that's begging the question. That's begging the question to say I'm going to assume bending light rays around the curve.
Yeah. I mean, we could resort to rhetorical devices because I'm not a
Can I?
I'm not a meteorologist, but
Yeah, that's not a demonstration, though.
what's not a
Can I ask a
demonstration?
clarifying?
Go ahead.
What you said. Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah, go for it, Elijah.
Are you talking about things above and below, with respect to the geometric horizon?
Yeah, I guess that would be fair to say. Yeah, why would we be able to see something on a curved surface that resides below the horizon? That's the question being
Oh,
asked.
so the
Why-
horizon is physically in the way, then, yeah. So it's the light from the object traveling to your eye above or below this geometric point.
Yeah, in theory, well, and what they would say, at least on a global model, is that you would be able to see something well beyond the mathematical horizon because the light reflected from that object is traveling along a curved refracted path due to the air density, and that it would vary from days. They like you can see the oil rigs, on some days you can see them plain as day, and they're quite visibly above the horizon, where other days they're sunk way below the horizon, or some days you can't see them at all, depending on how uniform the air density is between you, the observer, and those objects. That's the explanation.
Where do you get? It sounds like you conflated a couple things.
Well, the explanation is when you see the horizon, it is.
You
When
didn't hear me
you
speaking?
When you
Yeah,
close your eyes, okay, there
You
is
didn't
no
hear me
horizon.
speaking?
Yeah, now we can.
Please, Elijah, say something.
So it sounds like you conflated a couple of things. Because you said yes, it's the horizon that's physically where it is, and there's these things like the oil rigs, I guess, above or below that geometric point. But obviously, in the Black Swan with the oil rigs, that the horizon is actually uh, farther away. So not up or down, but farther away. Now, here's the thing, though. You said something about refraction being a major factor. You do know that Andrew Thomas Young, or people before him, have created a formula for refraction in the atmosphere. Did you know that?
Well, yeah, they've had to deal with that
Just yes
for
or
a long
no?
time.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, I
No
haven't heard of that
disrespect.
particular. No, I haven't heard of that particular
No
individual. But
disrespect. Just yes or no, because I have a follow up.
sure.
Yeah. Right.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you know that it only gives you like another like 0.1 or 2 to the distance to the horizon, not 10 times further?
No, because I like I said, I'm not familiar with that particular individual's work.
No, that's like when people say refraction, no one really knows, but that is the. I mean, when they say you have to account for refraction because of the atmosphere, well, yeah, I'm telling you, there's a formula for that, and it only gives you but 0.2 extra distance, not orders of magnitude difference of distance. So there's no justification for saying, well, the horizon is way back there, but that's due to refraction because there's no mathematical formula or anything else that can actually answer
Well, I
for
say,
that. So
there's an error there. There's an error there. You're having an error of degree, or maybe an error in kind, because you say you use the term orders of magnitude. In reality, you wouldn't. In order for you to see orders of magnitude further, you would only have to adjust your angle very, very slightly.
okay, but
because
you're
of
not
how
adjusting your angle though. So what are you
you
saying?
are.
That the angle of the
Refraction
light?
is. No, that is exactly what refraction would do. Refraction would optically raise your vantage point potentially hundreds of feet. You know what I mean?
I don't.
But at the distances that we're talking about, that's like what, 1 degree, 2 degrees? That's not very high. But on a sphere, I suppose, that has a diameter of 25,000 miles, no, sorry, 3,600 miles or whatever. Like that would throw that horizon out to a very far degree.
So
That's
Reno,
not. That's not what the. That's not what the information says, or the math teachers say. Though they just
Well,
say, well, the distance to the horizon, given this formula, would be about 3 miles. But if you add in the refraction, it's like 3 point something miles. Now, obviously, when you're looking at the oil rigs, it's beyond 10 miles. So there's a discrepancy with what you're saying and what we're hearing and what we're seeing with the math that they're using.
Well, I can't vouch for what other people say, how the math is supposed to work. I can only just kind of use my logical brain because I'm not a math teacher.
Well, it's not
I'm just
logic
saying.
because you're begging the question in the first place, and that's
yeah, you
actually a
could stand
logical
from
fallacy.
How am I begging the question?
Refraction itself, because there's a geometric horizon you don't see. So you're like, well, there's curved atmosphere, therefore there's some level of curve that the light has to bend around the
Okay.
surface of the Earth. That's also curved. That's
All right.
begging the question.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that would be begging the question. I would be positing this explanation, in assuming that the Earth is a sphere. Therefore,
you're wishful thinking.
that's not. Well, I wouldn't
Illogic.
consider it. Well, it's not wishful thinking. I mean, yeah, you could.
Okay,
You guys
illogic.
could.
Illogic then.
No, it's not illogical. Why would it be logical to assume that we live?
So you're telling me
magically on a
everything you see in the distance is an optical illusion?
No, not at all. I'm saying that
Well,
there
that's
are.
what you just got done telling us.
It's not an illusion if
An
the
optical
physics.
illusion. It's under the curve. Yet, if we speak in dulcet tones, and I see what you're saying. Light does do these things. It creates something that we can see that's not actually there. That's an
Of
optical
course.
illusion, sir.
No, that's not an optical illusion. Without my
Sure it
glasses,
is.
I can't see the Earth, the
You're
world
telling
around me.
me. Listen,
No. Let me
friend,
finish my
you're
point.
telling us that
No,
you're.
let me finish
Okay,
my
go
point.
ahead.
Let me finish my point.
You already made your point.
I don't live in a world that's all fuzzy and blurry. I don't, because I know that because I can put glasses on.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
No.
You're talking about things that are beyond the curve being projected up to your eye line.
Yeah, and my eye,
An optical illusion.
yeah, and my retina in
Can
my
I, wait,
eye
can I
is in
can I
front.
can I interject here? Can I interject here? I'm sorry. Because we're like splitting hairs where there. Sorry, motorcycle. Where there doesn't need to be any split hairs. Because here's the thing: if you go to Vsauce's video about the moon and why its orientation doesn't exactly line up with the angle of with its angle to the sun, he says it's an optical illusion. So, I mean, just for
All
all
right.
intents and purposes, it is what it
Fair
is,
enough.
man.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, beyond fair.
Well, refraction is a thing because that's how lenses work.
Okay, but is
Yeah,
the thing that
sure.
you say is refracted a thing?
What do you mean? Oh,
Well, the
you
thing that
mean
you're saying is refracted, i.e., the geometric horizon, is that a thing?
yeah? I mean, certainly if refraction's a thing,
That
then
doesn't make any sense.
No.
That's complete non
You
sequitur.
can I
No,
just
I'm
take a
not. No,
moment? Can you guys hear me?
yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just take a moment to appreciate the fact that Ray did just concede to Elijah there that it was a logical fallacy, begging the question to assume that the light is traveling in a curve over a curve. So really, you've agreed, Ray, that this rebuttal, the fact that we're seeing too far and the horizon's in the wrong place, the rebuttal on the globe side is a begging the question fallacy.
Yeah, I would say that. Well, I wouldn't say the rebuttal, in so much as let me parse that out for just a second. Refraction does exist. It certainly would, knowing what we understand about the property of light, refraction would occur traveling across the atmosphere, and if
Making more
you guys,
questions.
no, you can, but right up until this point, when we look, because of the weather conditions change, in order for me to believe that the Earth is flat, I would have to assume that then I don't even have an explanation as to why on some mornings I can see the oil rig and other mornings I can't even see the top of its cranes. And from day to day, the height of this thing across a flat surface seems to be wildly variable. But if I can plug the weather conditions into a formula, it will predict exactly how much of that thing I will see.
That's just a lie. He already told you what the formula does. It gets you like an extra tenth or two of a mile in what we're showing you, which is nowhere close enough to account for it.
We're not saying that you need to agree with
I
us
have
here, but
another.
what
I have another thing to posit too, because if you, sorry, to say it's like I mean, this level of what do you call it? What's the word? Incredulity, is it? Uh, Here's the thing. Andrew Thomas Young, which is the thing everyone's parroting when they say refraction, believe it or not, because you said you don't know much about it. Well, everything that you've heard must have come from Andrew Thomas Young because his stuff is derivative, not really, but fake derivative from Snell's law. And so it's just like a hypothetical situation that you have when you have curved air over a flat plane. And then he converted the flat plane into a curved earth, hypothetically speaking, in his hypothetical model.
So that's the
But
explanation. Then that curved air is the reason why we would see on a flat plane different heights of the oil rig in the distance. The air is curved.
no, what I'm saying is everything that people speak about refraction, he got his data assuming.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with that person.
You just cut out right at the end there, Elijah.
Yeah, I think I got the point though. Elijah's saying is that apparently this individual has put some work into explaining the refraction as a matter of atmospheric effects. But refraction itself is very well understood, which is why we can make things like camera lenses and eyeglasses and stuff like that.
Right. But saying
Yeah, of course, that's the real practical version of refraction in Snell's law, because you have a boundary that light is passing, and that's when the refraction happens. Now, when you're talking about different densities of air, this is where we get hypothetical. This is the thing that isn't proven. This is the thing that Andrew Thomas Young is talking about. He's not talking about the well understood phenomena of light bouncing from air to water or air through glass. So, well understood, air through glass, hypothetically, mathematically made up, bending air.
But it's not a matter of degree, or it's not a matter of kind, like you said it. It's a matter of degree. There is absolutely no question that air density changes relative to height. It's just not
No,
even questionable.
it's a matter of quality, qualifying. You have two different boundaries. Now, to say that the different densities of air are different boundaries, no. That's just a mathematical equation made up to explain something that they really can't really test for or explain anyway, to be honest, keep it real. Because the military just took 3 lasers and tested that, and the results were conclusive that refraction, really didn't work the way that they expected.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there's a
yeah, I can't.
difference, right, Ray? Just because we're not saying that refraction in general, as it's understood and applied in optics, tested in labs, we're not disputing that. But atmospheric terrestrial refraction, where you're claiming light bending around a curve in the air to meet the observer's eye, just to perfectly make things look level, that's what's in dispute. And I'm more interested as well, because
Then you're
earlier I said, if you're seeing something that's too far away, beyond, quote unquote, beyond the curve, then surely you have two options in your mind anyway. You're saying either the light is bending up around this curve, or we're just seeing it because it's there and there is no curve. Surely both of those are possibilities.
Well, I would remove the one that I'm seeing it because it's there off the table, because we would know that on any other given day you might not see that object, or it might appear at radically different heights from day to day to day, depending on the weather conditions.
But
So
but seeing it is the black swan, right? If you see it any day, then you're seeing it. Meaning the other days there might have been something in the atmosphere that was stopping you from seeing that far.
But it's not
But
blocked,
you can see them.
right? But it's not, and
no, and one of the reasons for that would be because there is no obstruction blocking it, i.e., there's no curve. It's a straight line of sight.
So let's say that I'm seeing line of sight. Well, that still doesn't answer the question as to why it would appear to be different heights. Say I can see it as clear as a bell. I can read the license plate on the forklift that's running around on the oil rig, right? So I can see it as clear as a day. But on different days, it appears to be above the horizon at different heights. Some days it's barely above. Some days it's halfway up. Some days it's almost all the way up.
Wouldn't that make more sense to be an optical phenomena than a geometric curvature of the surface?
Oh, they're both optical phenomena.
Wait,
Just one.
time out. Why are we taking this hypothetical as read? Because actually, I don't know what you're talking about. Especially if you're talking about the oil rigs off of Santa Barbara.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen lots of video where you can barely see them. I could try to find some if you
Yeah,
can.
Raynard's
they would be different. But they hold
misunderstanding
on.
the argument.
Hey. Chill out. What I'm trying to tell you is, tests of the same location pretty much have the same result. Now, I've seen other videos where they were at different places, and also the water level was different, or let's say the waves. So it's not, it's because there tends to be some sort of shoaling effect because there's a large drop off in that area. So we can see that, and we know that because we can just look at the geographical location and what's going on underneath the sea floor. So there's that. But anyway, when it comes to the black swan that we're talking about, and they say, well, how come we can see it on this day? That on that day they didn't take the video from the same exact spot. And if you're saying that that is the case, please put the videos in the chat right now.
I mean, I don't have them on my fingertips. I think for the sake of
MLSB 69 on YouTube. Very easy to find. Not that many videos on his channel.
saying on this channel.
MLSB 69 is his channel.
Right. Well, you guys can continue.
And that's on YouTube.
And I'll do a little homework, and you guys can keep talking, I guess. I'll go on.
All right. See you in a little bit.
Homework. Yeah. Thanks.
Wow. A concession to a logical fallacy and an agreement to do some homework. Elijah, you're on fire.
I'm not. Yeah, I try not to be unreasonable.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't sound unreasonable. He's just going. It sounds like he's going off the best of what he knows. And I like to give people more information. That's all.
Yeah, no, he sounds like a respectable guy. Thanks for joining us, Ray. We appreciate your time.
You guys kind of let me in the channel. It was probably about 3-4 weeks ago. I just haven't had a chance to check back in, and I got about 20 more minutes to converse. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a little bit of homework here and see how quickly I can come up with something.
Yeah, good stuff. Enjoy.
I'll even help you.
I'll even help you further along. The video that they get the screenshots from is called magnification, or in the thumbnail is called magnification, so you can find it very easily.
What was that channel name again?
MLSB69.
MLSB69. Thanks.
Let me post the video of the original, which has the channel in it, in the live stream for you.
Ooh, I might have forgot his name because it's not coming up.
Yeah, it's
Is it MLSB?
BMLSB69. So there's a B at the start.
BMLSB. Yeah.
69. Nice. Have you got the channel there, Ray?
Yeah, I found a bunch of security cams.
Yeah, see if you go into the live stream voice text channel.
All right,
It's just been posted, the original channel. So see if you can, where I just tagged you.
I got it. Thanks.
Here's the video right here. This is the video I'm about to post right now.
Okay,
that everybody talks about.
There you go, Ray. Homework's half done.
All right, I got it.
Don't say we're not good to you. Yeah, Wave Mixer, you've got your mic still open. I'm not sure if you realize.
Yeah, I was going to talk earlier. I didn't know if I was getting road noise there. Let me see if I can turn this thing off.
Yeah, no, the floor is open if you want to jump in.
Well, there's been a whole bunch of stuff talked about, and I don't even know where to start right now. Wow. Okay, I'm in heavy traffic, so now's not a good time to get into this stuff. So I'm moving about 5 miles an hour. Am I picking up road noise? Am I hot micing and disturbing the channel?
No, it's okay. We can hear your indicator, but that's about it.
Your
Quite
turn
relaxing.
signal,
Okay.
he means.
I'm just looking forward to any geometric horizon you might find in any of those videos.
Yeah, to make it clear, Ray, we're looking for some evidence of curvature in those videos. We
Well,
can't seem to find it.
Oh yeah, I don't know about. I thought we were talking about where the distance at which the horizon appears to be.
Yeah, because
So-
that's according to the globe model. That's curvature that the boats and things are going over. We're not supposed to be able to see beyond a certain point due to the curve, whereas the curve is predicted to be in front of the rigs, so the horizon's supposed to be in front of the rigs, but we see it way beyond the rigs, 10 miles. So it's like the curve has just flattened out.
So I guess when I'm looking at one of these videos from this BLM SB69, shows two photos that look like they're taken from the same angle. One is with the habitat platform residing halfway below the horizon, and one with it's almost all the way above.
But even with, sorry, Elijah, you want to pick this up?
He's
Yeah, give
showing
me
a
a second.
photo of
Let
it.
me look through it
He's
real
showing
quick.
a photo of it. I'll snag it here in a second and drop it in the chat.
Yeah, I know the photo he shows, but you got to see where he is.
Well, yeah, I can't verify 100%. I'm looking at the geometry of the platform, so I can tell that he's at the same angle. But what I can't confirm is what distance, because technically, I mean, because I'm not there, photographically, he could have approached the objects, to a fair degree, and then taken a similar picture, but then zoomed one in and then made the geometry look pretty similar. Although that still doesn't necessarily explain why they would reside at different heights. And I'll grab one of these real quick and just share it with you, just so you can see what I'm saying. Grab that. Copy.
Do you think that a reflection of light off water can also be refracted from beyond the geometric horizon?
So I just posted that. Well, hold on. Let me answer that question in a second. I just posted the photo. So basically, what he's showing here is he's got two pictures overlaid one another. I'm assuming taken at different times. I didn't have the audio on because I was listening to you guys. One of them shows the far platform, which I assume is the habitat platform. At one time, it appeared higher above the horizon, and then another part is almost half submerged below the horizon. I guess that my question would be, assuming that, I mean, the geometry of those stations look like the two photos were taken from the same location. So if that were true, what would explain the rise and fall of that further platform, and why would there be any horizon between us and it in the first place on a flat surface? There should be nothing. I mean, if he's standing on the ground and not dug in a hole somewhere, we should be able to see the very bottom of where the stanchions that are supporting that platform meet the water. But in the lower one, the water is risen well above halfway through. So I guess I would ask, what explains that kind of concept?
What's the timestamp?
Here, let me share the video too. Just because we might not be looking at the same one. I just looked at a couple. So I just shared that. This one's called Magnification. I think that's the one that he's originally sent me. Was it not? Okay. So I'm at this appears at 22 seconds in. It's a 47-second video. So, and he just kind of ghosts them in. He does a good job of overlaying the two photos.
You say 22 seconds into the video?
Oh wait, hold on. I'm reading something. Along a hillside, height. He's changing his height. I think that might be why. Hold on. I didn't listen to the audio. I probably should have done that.
That would definitely be a different angle, of course. But that's what anyway, let's make sure we're looking at the same thing. So what, 22 seconds after you said?
Yeah,
Like
22 seconds
beginning?
into the video.
So I can't see the video right now. I'm driving, and I'm just trying to picture everything in my mind. But if you got a nice clear shot of that oil derrick 10 miles away, and if the Earth was curved, shouldn't you be looking underneath and being able to see the bottom edge of that deck and not the side of the deck?
Well, for the purposes of this conversation, we're not contending with the size of the Earth. Just the fact that there would be a horizon between us and it suggests that there would be some curvature, whether the Earth is 10 million miles in diameter or 2 miles in diameter. There would be some curvature between us and something at distance. Whether the again, this is a question of kind, not degree. Right now, we're just trying to deal with what kind of planet are we living on, not the degree to which we should be able to do
No,
this or that or the
because
other
that
thing.
would be begging the question. So we're not trying to do that. We're not trying to figure out what kind of planet we're living on. We're trying to figure out even if we are on a planet.
Okay, sure. I mean, you can.
I mean, and I can answer your question. Things do disappear bottom up on flat surfaces. We have other videos demonstrating that.
I've
But
seen those.
I mean, I want to see what you're seeing because I don't want to just dismiss
Well, I
what you're
posted
saying.
the.
I didn't see 22 seconds in. It was just like his words. Maybe it was a little before that. Because it says in this video, I'll show sea level atmospheric magnification effect. By the way, there's a video that shows this as well. I just don't know that wouldn't explain the water level though. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. But again, uh, I don't want to go too far into speculation without seeing what you're looking at. Because I did tell you to get the video.
Yeah, I just posted the screenshot again for you. It's in the chat. If you go to live stream voice text, it's right
Are you
at
sure you're
22
posted
seconds.
in the right spot?
Oh man, it's everyone else is posting stuff in there. Jim just posted something in there.
I mean, oh, okay, 7:47.
I got 8 minutes. So, yeah, I guess I don't. It's for me, on a global Earth, I would say the reason why the water rises up well above the bottom of those platforms is because there's a curve between us and it in these photos.
It's the wishful thinking has been noted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's a better explanation, then I would
It's
want
worse
to hear
than
that one.
wishful thinking, because isn't that affirming the
Can somebody else
consequence?
tell me what the time? Yeah, we went through all
I don't
that.
understand why
Can
there's
somebody else tell
confusion
me
He's
about
what
aware of
the
his illogic, President Orion. He's okay with it.
Can somebody else tell me what the timestamp is? Oh, okay. That's not 20. Okay, that's not 22 seconds.
I mean, I just posted the thing. Literally, the link I just
It
sent you was.
says that, but that's weird because I know the video is not 47 seconds long.
This must be a different clip that I'm looking at. It's called magnification, but this must be just a different one that I snagged. It's the same. It's the same creator though. It's BLMSB 69. And I just posted the link with the timestamp included, so it will open it right at what I'm looking at. He's what he's done is he's superimposed the horizon at a fixed point, but let the effects of the
see, this isn't the video that I sent you.
Yeah, this is an example of what I was talking about, though.
Sure, but there's not enough information here. Maybe we can get a hold of BMLSB and see what he says.
That's 3 years ago. Let's see.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
He's active in the community.
Is he in the community? Okay, I didn't know that.
Not right now, I'm saying, but if it was really that serious.
Oh yeah, he might be able to confirm that. Yeah, he took the photos from the exact same location, which would be important to understanding what it is that we're seeing. Obviously, if you move the camera, I would expect everything in the frame to move with it and have all kinds of varied effects.
Yeah, cause see this video, and this is what I mean. This video doesn't show that he's in the same exact location.
No, I'm just telling you as a
He's just dealing with
yeah,
this
photographically.
reputation of because obviously people slice or screenshot different parts of his videos and put them together. So I'm looking at the 9-minute video of the magnification video where he's obvious. It's obviously not the same situation. I don't know what's going on here. It's only 42 seconds long. To be fair, you know what I'm saying? Like I sent you a 9-minute video. So this may sound like, a justification, but I'm pretty sure I saw like that screenshot and I saw him zoom in and I'm like, he's not at the same location. I could be wrong, but that's why I sent you everything. So do you want to well, maybe watch that later because I know you pressed for time, but do you think that light being reflected on the surface of the water can also be refracted from beyond the curve? You think that's a possibility? Hello? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute this time. Yeah, I would say light can be refracted regardless of the source, and yeah, even if that source is beyond obviously the horizon, if it's on the water, say like sunlight hits a wave and flashes, it makes a little flash, or there's a white cap on the wave and it's over the horizon, and the light from that reflecting from that white cap would, in theory, follow the curve. But again, like I would agree with you guys, that's sort of begging the question.
Oh, okay. I mean, because there's that other BMLSB video. I'll go ahead and post it for you where the cranes aren't so bendy. As a matter of fact,
Your bag is in the way. Can you just move?
I think someone's ordering
food. See, look at this. Now, of course, he's a little bit higher in elevation, but keyword is a little bit because the horizon is still like 3 times further than not even 3 times. We have no idea how far away that horizon is, but we know it's at least 3 times further than what it would be if it was geometric. But there's no bending of the cranes going on at all in that video. It just looks like a clear, flat piece of water.
Yeah, I would say
And
that's pretty predictable, because if you raise your elevation up quite a bit, what you're going to be doing is your because those varied effects of air pressure, they smooth out quite a bit once you get away from the surface, right? So
right,
once
right. The higher up you go, the less the refractive effects there would be. So you should actually see the geometric horizon getting closer, as per the Glober's argument with Al-Biruni being on top of a mountain. Shouldn't get worse, should get better. Meaning the
yeah,
geometric horizon should be closer, but it's further.
no, I would, the higher you go, definitely on a global model, the higher you go, the geometric horizon would go away from you. But
No,
also,
yeah, the geometric horizon technically would go further. It would be further, but what I'm saying is not the refracted one. So the
no,
geometric horizon being further would mean, okay, it was at 1.2 miles. Now that we're higher,
no,
it's
I get
at
what you're
3
saying.
miles. But
I
in
get what
this case,
I get
the
what you're saying. No,
refraction, it should be closer.
I get what you're saying. You're saying like, okay, if I start rising up in the air, my point of view starts rising up through the air, the effects of refraction should get less and less and less, because the the air density kind of more or less gets more equaled out. And therefore, in theory, as I rise up, what I would expect to see is that the actual horizon barely moves at all. Or I don't know that it would necessarily get closer, but possibly it would get closer. But eventually, what would end up happening is because my line of sight to the horizon is so unperturbed by differences in air pressure that at a certain height, the horizon would just continuously go further and further in the distance.
Well, you know, the time of day also affects that. So
Oh, yeah,
there's a time of
absolutely.
day that would be minimal. You see what time of day that is? It's either dusk or dawn. I think it's dusk, and no, I think it's dawn. And guess what?
Yeah.
The effects of refraction should be minimal at that time.
Dawn, I would say the air is probably cooler at dawn, so the air is more dense. Denser objects are going to have a higher refractive index than less dense.
Yeah, but
medium.
we're looking at those oil rigs are 6 miles away. So there's not so much of a curve that we're going to be looking through different densities, because we're talking about a vertical difference of density, not a horizontal difference of density. I mean, that's another thing that I probably should have mentioned in the beginning. But yeah,
I mean, these guys are out there. I'm watching this right now. I'm at this was the second one that he just sent me. Like, they are out there, no doubt about it.
Say again.
The oil rigs are at a very great distance in the second video that you sent. It's 10. Well, he's claiming that it's 10.10 miles, which, based on him zooming out, I would guess is true. Well, it's highly verifiable. I don't think they move those things, as far as I know.
Right. Right. So 10 miles is not far at all.
No, 10 miles that would be an incredible distance to be able to see 10 miles. Yeah, that's a long way up.
Oh, but as far as the ground curving, that's not a lot of curvature, is it?
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I mean,
I know for a fact that even if I was 20 feet tall, the difference in density between my feet and my head wouldn't be. I don't think there'd be a difference. See what I'm saying?
no, probably not. No, I wouldn't imagine there would be.
So that's the corridor of sight that we're talking about. If the Earth was curving.
No, if the Earth was flat, then your line of sight 20 feet would be the same as 20 feet.
I'm talking about the corridor of density that we have to work with. If the ground was curved, then it'd only be about that much, because there's not that much curve in 10 miles.
Well, as it approaches you, sure, but once you get offshore, all kinds of hell and chaos will occur with the atmosphere. That's
Well,
why
you are just making that up, right? You don't know that.
Well, I live by one of the Great Lakes. I can tell you that the air is usually pretty chaotic near the lake shore. There's just bodies of water.
We're looking at a pretty, constant video of those oil rigs. I mean, we know what turbulence in the air looks like, especially when we're looking at heat off of exhaust pipes in the street, in the cars.
Sure.
We know what that looks like. Those oil rigs don't look like that.
Well, actually, when he's playing the portion that he zoomed in, they're boiling. Like, yeah, they're rolling in all kinds of atmospheric effect. I mean, they look like they're boiling. He muted, but anyway, yeah. When I'm watching the video that he shared, I'm trying to find one of sorts. In the video, they look like they're boiling.
What I'm saying is the turbulence is not showing you the geometric horizon where it is, and then further and then closer. Nothing is happening to the horizon, and that's the thing that we're talking about. The horizon is constant.
That's the one I really want to stick into the ground on this one. Is I do want to find a series of photographs of objects taken at great distance.
No, yeah, but that would be kind of a red herring right now. Like, we could get back to that, but bottom line, with you saying, well, all types of things can happen. You can see the turbulence with as he zooms in here. But the point is that horizon is pretty constant, isn't it? It's not
That's
like
what
it's also
that's what.
turbulent, moving backwards, forwards.
No, in this video, yeah, I would agree. I mean, that what you are saying is essentially true. What I'm proposing is that when I have a minute, what I want to find is a series of photographs that show the visible horizon change in respect to fixed objects at a distance. In other words, if refraction
Oh, you'll
does,
never find that, bro.
well,
Yeah, yo, if you get me that, bro, I mean that would fuck my head up for a few days.
okay. Well, I don't want to cause anyone distress, but I'm usually pretty good at finding
No,
what I
no,
want.
that's what truth causes sometimes. It causes stress. That's why ballers are stressed in here most of the time. But yeah, we
Well,
like the
I
truth.
hope
So
I
we've
hope
been
you can tell that.
asking for. I'm sorry, real quick. We've been asking for a video to where you can see the distance to the horizon change. The only thing that you can see change, with respect to the optical horizon, because it's optical, is well. I mean, to be fair, the things that are physical, they appear to move. So I guess that's really a non-point. But it moves up and down. It's never in front of something and then behind something, like a hill being in front of my friend, obstructing my friend, and then being behind my friend who's still in the same position, but the hill
Yeah.
is behind him. That has never happened. No one's ever.
I get that's what you're saying, and that's what I'm going to try to find something of that nature if I can. I don't know if I'll be successful, but so far, so far everything I've imagined that I should be able to find, I've been able to find. But I don't normally this line of debate here, the horizon stuff and refraction, is my least favorite one to debate because it is such a, by its very nature, it's amorphous and turbulent. Some of the concepts and the math behind it may not be, but to me, not being a mathematician and not being a lens manufacturer or anything like that, this is the squirreliest stuff of the debates. Some of the other aspects are a little bit more
If you're
straightforward.
no expert, how is it that you've convinced yourself that everything you see in the distance is an optical illusion?
I didn't say that. I conceded the point that labeling was fair for the purposes of this discussion.
Okay, so I'm just asking you, what expertise did you use then to come to this conclusion that everything you see in the distance is an optical illusion?
I wouldn't say that I would have to be an expert to conclude that. I would have
Okay,
to be
that's
an
what I'm
expert.
asking you. What are you drawing from then to come to this conclusion?
What I'm seeing with my eyes as a layman, that seems to
Which
make
is
more
not
sense
curvature. Layman? Are you laying on your face?
Do you not know what the term layman means?
Yeah, it was a joke, Einstein.
Why the aggression? Why am I
I'm
being
sorry.
attacked?
Oh, because you're tap dancing and avoiding. I'll ask you one more time in dulcet tones.
Yeah, but bro, I don't like how. I mean, obviously,
this guy's not.
I don't care. I don't care because I got somebody coming in later as well from TikTok,
Okay, well, I'll
and I
go
would not
take a
appreciate,
walk.
bro. I don't want to have to mute you, fam. I don't
No,
want to do
I'll
that.
walk. I just have a
I'm not
question for
screaming
you.
at you. I just need you to let me finish what I'm saying since I'm already in the middle
Well,
of my sentence and I'm
then
addressing you.
maybe he can get
You're
back
trying
to
to. You're trying
stuttering
to
over the answer to that question.
Wolfgang. Can I get some assistance? Is there another mod? I mean,
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm multitasking at the moment. But yeah, Hoss, just chill for a sec. Let Elijah have the conversation.
I'm not even saying I want to have the conversation or take over the conversation. Clearly, I've been a little aggressive, right? But I've not been rude to this guy. You can be
No,
aggressive
you've been
and
fine.
respectful.
Hey, you've been
You can be
gunning at me
stern
pretty
and
hard.
respectful.
I don't mind
No,
that.
I didn't mean to be rude to him.
No, stop doing that because it's not the first time you did it, and I'm getting very, 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 very short-tempered with you.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the fact that the question always makes them stumble.
Well, the question was, what expertise did I use?
So devastating.
Yeah, well,
He already said it was begging the question. I mean, the only you can't allow him to proceed and then get mad. Like you,
Okay,
because
I'm
if
not
I was
mad.
gonna get
I'm
mad,
not mad,
if I
dude.
was gonna get frustrated, I would have stopped at
I'm
the
not mad.
admittance of begging the question because
I'm not
that's what
mad
it
or
is.
frustrated.
So then why are you talking to him the way you are?
Okay, I'll lean back and I'll ask him one more time. What are you drawing from, Mr. Ray, to come to this conclusion that everything you see in the distance is an optical illusion?
Well, like I said, I agreed to the term optical illusion, I guess, for the purposes of this discussion. Personally, I don't view it as an optical illusion. I view it as the effects of optics, which they're not elusive, they just are what they are. I don't consider my lens corrections when I wear my glasses to be an illusion. They're just correcting by changing the direction of the light so that it hits my retina as opposed to focusing
But that's
behind my
non
retina.
sequitur.
I'm just saying, from a
It might
categorical
even be
philosophical.
equivocation because these are two different. You're talking about terrestrial refraction. That's not terrestrial refraction, so you're kind of equivocating as well.
No,
Just to
I'm
let
not.
you know.
I'm not saying that I have to be right. He asked me, "What logic am I using?" And I'm giving it to you. That I could be completely wrong. I could be batshit insane. It doesn't
Yeah,
even matter.
so
He asked the
it's
question. That's
illogic,
the
though.
answer.
Well,
Okay.
I didn't ask you what logic because you said you weren't an expert on any of these things. So I just asked you what you were drawing from to come to this conclusion. Is it your wishful thinking, or is it what you think is logic that turns out to be illogic? Is that what it is?
No, it's that we live on a global planet, and I have to come up with an explanation for this.
Well, you're
Rather,
presupposing that you live on a planet.
yes, that's my
And
presupposition.
do you find that to be illogical?
No, not at all. Not
Well,
even in the
that's an
least.
issue. That's an issue for you, sir.
Why would that? Why would this planet?
You agreed that you were Whoa, go ahead.
Why would I think that all of the other planets that I've seen through my own telescope in the sky have a shape different than the one I'm on?
Wow.
To what degree would I give that discontinuity any credibility at all? When I can
Okay,
see,
I'll just ask you one last question, then I'll go sit in the cheap seats. That statement that you just made, do you find that to be a logical statement?
yes, there is it's logical to
Well, sir,
conclude
you
that.
have a lot more homework to do than you thought.
Well, I would say that it's logical to conclude that looking at God's creation and the high degree of continuity and all of the things that He makes would be extended to the shape of this planet. That's all.
Your wishful thinking has been noted once again.
Well, it isn't wishful thinking; it's just an observation. Our morphology, our
It's an
biology,
observation that you attach a story to, sir.
everything that we think has a story attached to it, or we wouldn't think it. It's how we negotiate
Oh, really?
life itself. Yes, of
The
course.
nature of water has a story to it.
How you perceive it and how you understand it and how you interact with it, you're going to have a
You
story
and I
to it.
perceive water differently.
So we probably would, I would imagine, but I mean, there's certain things that we could agree upon that.
So if you and I both went to the swimming pool and I said, look, the water, it's level. Would you agree or would you perceive it differently?
I guess I don't know. I mean, if there's a bunch of kids splashing on, I would say,
Okay,
no,
you
it's
don't
kind
know
of
a lot of things. No, it's before the pool opens, sir.
Yeah, I would say it's level. I would perceive it as level.
Okay.
I think most
And then
people would.
could we measure it to be level?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a surveyor, but
Okay.
I'm sure we could.
That's fine.
I mean, water goes level, I would imagine.
Okay, good. So we're told we live on a water ball that's 70% plus covered with water.
Mm-hmm.
Yet all water is level. And how do you rationalize that?
With gravity.
Okay, yeah, you're out to lunch, sir. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah, it doesn't really
FaceTime,
make
huh?
any sense because gravity is supposed to be creating a curve over the surface of that water. You just agreed it's horizontal and level.
No, gravity pulls straight towards the center of whatever the body that is able to generate gravity would pull it towards. So water would just rest, whatever surface it's on, would rest perpendicular to that force. The force of gravity goes towards the center of the mass of any body that's capable of generating enough to hold water.
Okay, so
And
if there's no curve over the surface of any body of water, which it sounds like you just admitted to, then there's no ball.
No, I said that the water would rest perpendicular to the force of gravity. Now on
Yeah,
a
but
ball,
before that, you said it was horizontal.
then if that's what I said, then I misspoke. That's not what I meant.
No, you
Okay.
didn't misspeak, sir. You realize that you painted yourself into a corner.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. You admitted it was level and that we could measure it level. And then you started
Yes.
talking about gravity pulling it curved. You're double
Yeah.
speaking.
That's not true.
Let's keep your
It
wishful
is.
thinking out of it.
No, if I took let's look at it this way. If I took a ball,
Well,
let's say
hold
like
on
a cue ball.
before you
Let's
continue.
no
Before you
that,
continue,
let me finish.
before you continue, because a cue ball is an ideal shape. We already know that the Earth is not ideally a sphere.
This is an
So
illustrative
therefore, sea
example.
level. So I know it's an example, but it's non sequitur to the Earth. The point being that if you define level in the way that you're trying to define it, um, equidistant from the center of the sphere, guess what? You don't have a sea level because you don't have a zero. Why?
Okay.
Because gravity and the shape of the Earth is misshapen. It's not a sphere. And I mean, but anyway, you probably don't care about that. Whatever.
Well,
Go ahead.
not
Make your
according to
point.
me. And so I'm saying if you took a cue ball, right, which we would all say doesn't really have any level spot on it, but if you were to zoom into that cue ball to the size of say 2 nanometers and took a scan of its surface, that surface would look perfectly flat.
Oh, wow.
It would
That's
appear
not very
perfectly
good
flat.
curve evidence.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's evidence. I'm just using it as an illustrative purpose as to why when we look at something the size of a swimming pool, it appears level. Because we
Okay.
are standing at a microscopic
Appears
speck
and
across the surface.
measures. Go to the Suez Canal then if you don't like a swimming pool. 120 miles.
Yeah, but the thing is now you're just saying, well, it's so big that it looks flat. But I mean, earlier we already talked about how we accounted for the geometry, we accounted for what we should see. We don't see it, and then you talked at length about why that is and how there's all these optical illusions going on in the Atmo. So even granting you, oh, it's a really big ball, we're still not even seeing what we should see geometrically if it is that ball. And you've been conceding it like this entire time.
Well, I've been conceding the fact that it was begging the question to assume the reasons why we were able to see something beyond a distance that the geometric shape should allow for was
I agree
begging
with
the
you.
question.
I agree with you. I got a question about
because
that.
it does.
Is that all? Listen, is that all you got though? Is begging the question?
No.
Okay, then what else do you have?
Oh, what I said was there's no good reason for me to assume that Earth's shape would exist in such discontinuity to everything else I can see that is purported to be roughly its same
That's
size.
just begging the question again. I asked you if you had anything besides that, and that's what you're doing again.
So I'm begging the question by saying that there's continuity in God's creation.
You're just presupposing the very thing in question.
You're just presupposing
Hey
that.
guys, can I ask him a question on what he's addressing right now? Do you mind?
I'm just saying you are presupposing that those are planets, and then you're
Yes.
saying, well,
Yeah.
this is also a planet. So those are two assumptions there. One that up there is
Leaps of
planets.
logic.
Let's say that they are. That doesn't mean that this is a planet though.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't mean
But
that this is a
obviously,
planet.
because we learn about the solar system and all of that, it'd be hard to disconnect your mind from. Well, obviously, if those are planets, why would this be some flat thing in space? Well, first of all, it's not that you have a globe religion. You have a space religion. That's what it is, because you believe in the heliocentric universe. You believe everything that they just started proposing not only 500 years ago but 100 years ago with Hubble and the expansion of the universe, vacuums of space, which is also a recent idea. All of these things you believe because It's just the continuity of that story, not God's creation. Don't do that. Let's not go there.
Well,
Because we could talk
that's
about
where I'm
what the
at.
Roman Catholic
I mean,
Church really did 500 years ago and
well,
how we already know. I'm sorry,
that's
you were
not.
interrupting. Did it sound kind of, was that a little harsh?
Well, when you're telling me what I think and why I believe what I believe and what my beliefs are, then yeah,
No, I'm
you're
not.
mind
I was
reading.
talking about the last 500 years, and I'm talking about what you're espousing is a belief in something that is a story.
Yes. So is
Okay,
yours.
that story comes from 500 years ago
just like you.
up
I don't
until
care
now.
where the story comes from. You have a story too. And
No,
you
all I
decide
said
it.
was no. I don't have a no. I don't have a story. All I'm saying is don't include God's creation in that because you're trying to say why would I think that the continuity of the universe, God's creation, would be any different for the? It's like, well, first of all, no. You just have a story of man from 500 years ago up until now. Second of all, the people, Edwin Hubble specifically being one of them, but there are many of them who contradict the empirical nature of their discussions. Us thinking, well, obviously we're moving around the earth, and then him saying, well, we actually had no evidence of that. So don't go there, is all I'm saying.
So, despite the reasoning that I use to formulate my perspective, you would rather me lie about it and say I've come up with some other thing, or because you don't like why I believe what I believe? Is that what this is about?
Just acknowledge it's wishful thinking.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Yeah,
I didn't say
depending
I
on
didn't say I didn't like what you believe. I just said there's no evidence of it to say, well, I'm just going to say that those are planets and why would this not be a planet? I'm just saying it's, oh, well, I can get why you think that because it's not about the earth, it's about the universe. That's where the emotion comes from. What you think the entire universe is. Now you're acting like I'm slighting you for saying that. You know
said
that's
don't
what
go
you, I
there.
mean, do you not? Do you not? Is that not an accurate assessment?
I'm not sure I've
It
found
has
an
to be an
assessment in
accurate
what you just
assessment
said.
because you
No.
just said, "Why am I slighting you?" And not in your words, but in my words, you said, "Why am I slighting you?" If you feel like I'm slighting you for what you believe, that means it was an accurate assessment.
No,
And
I
no, I
don't care
wasn't
if you
slighting.
no, I don't care if you slight me. If you want to insult me, that's
No,
all
I'm
fine
not
and dandy.
slighting you. You just questioned. First, you said that I'm telling you what you believe, and I'm
Ask
like,
you because
no,
you
that
were.
is what you believe. But it
Sure.
is what you believe because in order for me to be slighting you or for you to feel slighted, I have to be talking about what you believe.
Yeah, but that you don't need to be telling the truth when you do it.
Oh, well, all right. Fair enough. I like that.
So the reason why I can't be pushed off from this is because I've thought my way through it since I was a child. I mean, if someone's going to describe to me what I believe and they don't get it right, trust me, I'm going to know that they didn't get it right. So,
well, you just pushed yourself off of it when you talked about going to the pool. But so what was
not
it?
my
You just
opinion.
came here. So that's fine. Opinions are like, you know what? But so what did you come here to do? Just share your belief with us?
This is the place that I felt my ideas would be put to the test. So I'm here.
How do you think they did?
I would say
Remember
Elijah,
your trip to the pool.
Well, the trip to the pool, I would think that I would give that a D minus. Elijah's begging the question point, I think I would give a B plus or an A.
A B plus or an A and begging the question?
No, his
oh, he gets it. Okay, he gets an A.
He gets an A for effectively demonstrating why my opinion was begging the question. I thought he did a good job of that, and then he also.
Now, would you like to maybe consider that the entirety of your argument is wishful thinking?
It depends on what you think wishful thinking is. That's a bit of an
wishful thinking. I think there's a hyphen in between the two words.
So you're saying
begging
that
the question as well. Begging the question as well, sir.
So to clarify, you say that what I believe because I'm trying to fulfill a wish that this is how I hope
No,
the
what I'm
world is.
saying is the fact that you acknowledge that it's a belief, all of your evidence that you provide will be illogical.
I don't agree with that. I don't know how you make that
Well,
jump.
if you were able to cross the threshold of belief into
I don't agree
knowledge,
with how
then you
you
would.
worded that either.
Well,
'Cause you could believe in something that's
okay.
true.
Let me clarify. Then. If he had crossed over the threshold into knowing that he lived on a globe, then he would have presented some evidence that had some logic in it.
We've only talked about one topic. We've talked about refraction. That's about it. And the visible horizon.
No, we talked about water.
Well, I mean,
and then you
No,
changed
we
gravity.
didn't talk, wait, but that was actually an equivocation because there's a difference between terrestrial refraction, the mathematical version, and actual refraction in Snell's law. Just saying.
I mean, we're there. I don't believe that the Earth is a globe because I saw a ship disappear over the horizon. I didn't run away and go, "Oh my God, I figured it all out." Obviously, there's more to what's formulating my opinion than single observation.
Yeah, do you find it odd though that if this were backed by fact,
So that's
that
why I said what I
you
said.
wouldn't still be teetering in the opinion and belief? Where are
But
the
that's why I
facts,
said what
sir?
I said. It's not Earth curve. It's not one particular phenomena. It's the entire universe and the ideas of it that
Right.
shape how we see the Earth. That's the problem. It's
What
not
I'm
going to be
trying.
undone, or it's not going to truly be challenged. Not in one day. It doesn't work like that. I hate when people act like this can all be rationally thought out and spoken about in one interaction. Now,
That's not
obviously,
what I'm doing.
somebody like
That's
Matthew Learns or somebody who's here for like 10 months, okay, I feel you there. Not with new people, man. Come on.
I mean, I just stepped into this environment, and we've discussed one topic. I've gone almost a half an hour over the allotted time I gave to give to the conversation. I'm hoping that I can come back and have more conversations.
Well, we discussed water too.
I had a pool thrown at me. And
Okay, and then the
discussion with
Suez
Elijah.
Canal.
Yeah, I guess I'll look into those things. I mean,
Yeah.
what else you want me to do? I'm not an
Good
expert
on
on
you.
the Suez Canal, and I didn't study
Well,
it.
why just acknowledge that it was more than just one thing?
Okay. There were multiple items. Some
There
of them
you go.
fleshed out. Some of them fleshed out in greater depth than others. Some were a bit more superficial. I would
Well,
say.
the nature of water is pretty simple.
Yeah, I would agree.
You're the one that has to make the leap of logic to get to the water is curving. It's just measured level because of gravity. Well, another thing you have to realize, this is the era of space-time.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey Ray, when you come back, and I hope you come back many times because you're nice to talk with. If you could look up, please, where there's the ball in the Bible, because you invoked God, created this, solar system, this universe. If you could come back with some idea of where the ball is in the Bible, I would love to talk to you about that, Ray.
How you know he's not Muslim? Even though God is one God, even though they're different How you know what book he follows though?
Well, I don't look to
Ask
the
him
Bible
first.
for a scientific
Just
explanation.
go ahead and ask him. Go ahead and ask him. Don't be a bigot.
Are you
Gotta
Ray?
have high standards here.
Ray, are you a Douay Reams person or are you a King James version?
Well, the Bible that I have by my bedside is King James, actually.
Okay, so I'll make you a deal. Some people say that the King James is about 80% of what Tinsdale's Bible was from 1534. So if you could find the ball in the Bible for me out of the King James, I would love the conversation.
Yeah, I'm having read it. I'm not sure I ever heard it mentioned. Though, I mean, I guess I look at it this way. Science measures things. That's all it does. It tells us the what. Religion tells us the why. why would we do this, or why would we, behave this way or that way?
Absolutely
I don't
not,
look
brother.
to.
Absolutely
I don't look
not.
at.
No.
No. Science is a method, and that method tells us the how and why of natural phenomena. The what would be geometry. That's what
Mm-hmm.
would
All right.
tell us what the shape of this. Second
Let
of
me
all,
illustrate what.
as it relates to the Bible, guess what? All of that measuring you're talking about, the God of the Bible said that that's a fool's errand, a man's folly. So
Sure. I can't disagree with that, but I guess I'd illustrate it this way. You could sit and watch, and listen to a symphony, a whole orchestra play, an entire symphonic piece in front of you. You could also light a match, just watch it burn, right? Now, in both of those instances, you're watching some somewhat complex chemical reactions, and science could tell us all about how many joules were used and how many decibels were associated with those activities. But science is not going to tell you the significance of listening to a symphony over watching a match burn. Science can't do that. It's not the
but I
role. It's not what
disagree
it's.
because science is not a tool for quantifying things. So you're talking
Yeah,
about quantifying things. That's not what science is used for. That's what pseudoscience is used for. Because
Yeah.
obviously anybody can put a picture to a set of corroborating numbers that make sense. So the scientific method in Karl Popper, whom a lot of scientists today still respect, believe in the idea of falsification. Okay,
yeah.
quantifying something it has nothing to do with that. If you can't falsify it, then it's pseudoscience. So we
Sure.
can't say science deals with the what. That's not true. It deals with the how and the why.
I
But I
like
mean,
that
we can probably
description.
get into that.
No, I like the way you
We
put
can
that.
get
No,
deep
that's
into
good.
that later.
No, I like the way you put that. I'll update my thinking on that, but I'll have to chew on it just a little bit longer than 2 seconds. But I do like the way that you put that. I think that's an improvement on what I was saying. So I like that idea. I'll chew on it a little bit. But with that, gentlemen, I bid you all a good night or a good morning, depending on what side of the planet you're on, or plane, as it were. Anyway, have a good one, guys. It's been enjoyable.
What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.